One Piece chapter 1137. It is titled Introducing Shamrock. Yamato and Otama in the cover page are looking in the hideout, where we can assume that this is a hideout with a bunch of the remnants of the Beast Pirates, and I'm really looking forward to seeing if we'll see either members of the Tobiropo or Jack, since we only saw King and Queen in prison in Udon and we know what happened to them involving Green Bull. The chapter starts off with Luffy's group successfully making it to the castle. However, they notice that the door is busted and that something has happened to the guards, which is odd because the door is busted from the inside, and why would intruders do that? Well, this is because that the Holy Knights, they were transported into the castle, they beat up the guards and then left. They are searching for the keys, but of course Road, he doesn't know where they are since someone like him wasn't allowed in the castle. As they are walking, there are some questions that were asked about the damage that was done. Most people think that the damage of the castle was done by the intruders, but in actuality, this is from the fight between Loki and King Harald that took place 14 years ago. A battle between the Cursed Prince and King Harald would leave damage like this, since Loki is considered to be a monster who it took Shanks to defeat, and King Harald was renowned as a great warrior. The castle is also covered in skeleton heads, which they were guards who were ready to kill Loki, where the only one that was able to survive was Joru. Amongst the skulls, there was one that had natural horns, and what I mean by that is there are some giants who wore hats with horns on their designs, and for example, you could look at Luffy. The giants that have natural horns, they have ancient giant warrior blood, and time has passed, of course, so there are no longer any pure-blooded ancient giant warriors, but it's said that those that possess this blood are stronger than normal giants. And a few things to note. Number one, we know that Horus lived over 500 years ago, so I wonder if he has any direct connection to someone like either Loki or King Harald. Two other giants in the series that have horns include, and I mentioned this already, but Loki and King Harald, there's Horus Jr., and then there's Yamato and Kaido, which would explain why Kaido and Yamato, number one, are super strong, and number two is big as hell. And then lastly, number three is that Hajrudin, he doesn't have horns, which I'll address a little bit later. Circling back to King Harald, his introduction was very similar to that of Mother Carmel in the form of a portrait or a painting. We know that Mother Carmel wasn't really a savior, so I wonder if that means that there's something hidden about King Harald. Also in the portrait, there are scars from where the horns were ripped out, and two things. Number one, I've seen people in the community say that King Harald looks a lot like Kaido. To me, if you squint really hard, you can definitely see it. And then second, I wonder why his horns were ripped out. Did Loki do it to prove that he is a mightier warrior? Or could someone use those horns to get ancient giant DNA? Kaido, he was experimented at Punk Hazard after all, so that's just something that I want to pay attention to. A common question that was raised by the community, myself included, was why wasn't Hajrudin immediately the king after Harald's death? Because of course he's older than Loki. Well, that's because apparently Hajrudin and Loki, they're only half brothers, and his mother was from another giant land. Maybe I could be ignorant, but I didn't think that there was a possibility that there would be other giants that wasn't from Elbaph. Nevertheless, because of his mother being from another giant country, Hajrudin, he doesn't have the right to the throne, as well as he was mistreated and never got to set foot in the castle because he is seen as someone with tainted blood. To where Zoro brings up a really good question: why would Road follow someone with tainted blood? And this is because as a kid, Road, he was bullied for being I'd say a weirdo. I mean, if you look at him now, he's definitely an interesting character, but Hajrudin, he was the only one who showed interest in Herold, and naturally, because Herold and Hajrudin are friends, he's going to want to follow him. Also, the reason why Hajrudin wants to become the king of all the giants is to try and let all of the giants coexist, whether they're from Elbaph or not. This is very, very similar as to why the Straw Hats followed Luffy. And speaking of Luffy, he found the giants knocked unconscious. But if you guys have made it this far into the video and you're enjoying the content, let me know by leaving a like, subscribing to the channel, and hitting the notification bell so you guys never miss out on a new video. I put out different One Piece content almost each and every day. We're back in the underworld and we see Loki is all beaten up, and to be fair, he's chained, so it's not like he can fight back or anything, but still, the shit talking between the two, it's insane. Loki's like, you're only beating me up because I'm in chains. And then Shamrock and Gunko, they're like, well, even if you could move, nothing would have changed. And the way that Gunko is using her fruit, I wouldn't mind if she stomped on me too.
Yeah, that brother's starving.
Something that's really cool though that is revealed about Loki is that he has future sight, because he's calling out how she's going to attack him, and only a handful of people can use future sight. And as the series progresses, we're going to get introduced probably to a lot more characters that could use it, or at least those that were top tier. It'll be confirmed that they can use it. Some people might get upset with that. I'm fine with it. It just shows that we're in the end game of One Piece. Loki, he's getting pieced up, but I love the fact that he's standing on business, because each time that they're asking if he's going to join the Holy Knights, he even stuck his tongue out, disrespected them. You have to respect that. The amount of torture that Gunko is doing, they're not getting anywhere, to which Shamrock, he's had enough. He stands up, he's like, hey, let's contact Mary Jo Watt. It's looking like they're going to dispose of Loki because he's not cooperating, but because of the might of the Elbaph warriors and what we saw in the past, Shamrock, he wants to bring them under the world government's control. A few things were revealed. Number one is that Shamrock, he is officially known as Figurlin Shamrock and is the captain of the Holy Knights and is the son of Garling. So he was the mysterious man that we were unsure of back in, I believe it's chapter 1121. He looks exactly like Shanks, so we can assume that they're brothers. I don't necessarily want to go and say that they're twins. I know that you could also be a twin and still be related, but still one might be older than the other. The parallels between the two brothers are kind of crazy. The fact that Shanks, he put a stop to the Summit War, and Shamrock, it's looking like he's going to be the one to start the final one. Also, a fun fact, if you did not know, one of Oda's earlier prototypes for One Piece is that he created a character named Shanks and was depicted as a knight leader. And then number two, Gunko, she ate the arrow fruit, and she's considered a human arrow or an arrow woman. I have no clue what that means or what her fruit does. I wonder if, since Shamrock, he wants to contact Mary Jo Watt, if he wants to summon more Holy Knights at Elbaph so they can take the power of the giants. I think that would be pretty cool to see, because don't get me wrong, I assume that Shamrock and Gunko are strong, but with the giants, with Luffy and the Straw Hats, they're going to be a little bit too much to handle. Since there is no break next week, I'm a firm believer, and I'm willing to bet a lot of money on it, that next week the chapter is going to end on a cliffhanger, something along the lines of Luffy and that group running into Shamrock, especially since they've made it clear that they're willing to kill Loki and eventually he's going to have to get free. But that's it for chapter 1137. Let me know how you guys felt about this chapter in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you guys never saw a new video from me. Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok is on the screen and in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to unleash your potential.